I want you to think about the last time you walked out of the grocery store and looked at the receipt in the parking lot. That little flip in your stomach. $140, and you're not even sure what you got. Half a cart? Nothing that makes a meal by itself. Here's what nobody tells you when money gets tight. The answer isn't coupons. It isn't driving to 3 different stores chasing sales. The answer is that a handful of foods, 7 of them, by my count, do almost all the real work of feeding a family, and they're the cheapest things in the building. They always have been. The store just doesn't put them at eye level because there's no money in them. I raised a family on these 7, not as a hobby, because I had to. So today I'm going to walk you through them. What each one costs, what it does, and just as important, what it won't do. Because I'm not going to stand here and tell you a bag of oats tastes like steak. It doesn't. But you'll eat well, you'll eat full, and your grocery bill will drop so hard you'll think the register made a mistake. Number 1 on my list is the best one, and it's the one most people walk right past. So stay with me. Number 7, old-fashioned oats. Not the little packets. Not the flavored ones with the picture of berries on the front. There's about 4 berries worth of berries in that whole box, and you're paying triple for the cardboard. I mean the big canister of plain rolled oats, or better yet, the bag from the bulk section. You're looking at somewhere around $2 to $3 a pound, and a pound of oats is a lot of breakfasts. Here's the math that matters. A bowl of oatmeal costs you maybe 20 cents. A bowl of the sugary cereal your kids are asking for costs closer to $1, and they're hungry again by 10 o'clock. Oats stick with you. They fill you up slow and let go slow, which is exactly what you want when lunch is a long way off and you're trying not to buy anything from a vending machine. And they're not just breakfast. Oats stretch meat. A pound of ground beef with a handful of oats and an egg mixed in makes a meatloaf half again as big, and nobody at the table will know unless you tell them. My mother did it. Her mother did it. The meatloaf your grandmother made that everybody remembers so fondly? There were oats in it. That's why there was enough. What oats won't do, they won't excite anybody. Plain oatmeal is plain. Cinnamon fixes most of that, and cinnamon is cheap. A spoon of peanut butter stirred in fixes the rest. By the way, tricks like that one, stretching a pound of meat into more than a pound, I've got a whole book of them. Every method I use to run this house for less, written down in one place. It's on my website, links right below the video. Go grab it. I won't bring it up again. Number 6. Cabbage. I know, nobody gets excited about cabbage. But listen to what it actually is, because it might be the single most underpriced thing in the produce section. A head of cabbage runs $1, $1.50 a pound most weeks, and one head is enormous. Cut into it and there's dinner after dinner in there. Compare that to a bag of salad mix. $4, $5, and it's slime in your crisper drawer by Thursday. A head of cabbage sits in the fridge for weeks, and it's still good. That right there is money, because the most expensive food in your house is the food you throw away. Every wilted bag of spring mix in the trash is $5 you paid for nothing. What do you do with it? Fry it in a pan with a little butter and salt, and it goes sweet. Most people who say they hate cabbage have only ever had it boiled to death. Shred it raw with a little vinegar and sugar, and you've got slaw for the side of anything. Throw it in soup and it disappears into the broth and makes the pot bigger. Cabbage is a stretcher. It takes any meal you were already making and makes more of it for pennies. It won't replace your fresh tomatoes in July. Fine. It doesn't have to. It just has to hold the line the other 11 months. Number 5. Potatoes. Buy the bag, not the loose ones. A 10-pound bag of russets usually runs $4 to $6, which puts them around 50 cents a pound. Now think about what else is 50 cents a pound in that store. Nothing. Nothing else is 50 cents a pound. A potato is a complete side dish that comes in its own wrapper. Baked, mashed, fried, roasted, dropped in soup. A baked potato with butter and salt is a food people pay $12 for at a steakhouse, minus the steak. And a potato fills you up in a way that almost nothing else at that price does. There's a reason half the world got through its hard years on potatoes. They work. 2 things about keeping them, because this is where people lose money. Keep them somewhere cool and dark, not the fridge. The fridge turns them strange and sweet, and keep them away from your onions. Potatoes and onions sitting together spoil each other faster. Side by side in the same basket looks tidy and costs you money. Separate baskets. That one habit will save you a bag a month. And when they do start to sprout a little and go soft, that's not the trash can. That's soup night. Cut the sprouts off, and in the pot they go. Number 4, eggs. Now, I know eggs have had their wild years lately. The price has bounced around like a screen door in a windstorm. But even at their worst, run the numbers. A dozen eggs at $4 is 33 cents a piece. 2 or 3 eggs make a meal for a grown adult. That's $1 dinner with real protein in it, the thing that's hardest to get cheap anywhere else in the store. And eggs aren't a breakfast food. That's just where we've been taught to keep them. Eggs are dinner. Scrambled eggs and toast is dinner. An egg fried and laid over a bowl of rice is dinner, a good one. Egg salad. A pan of eggs with whatever leftover vegetables are dying in the crisper drawer, cooked up together. My family called it clean out the fridge night, and nobody complained. One thing while we're here, brown eggs and white eggs are the same egg. Different chicken, same food. If the brown ones cost more that week, buy white and don't think about it again. And the carton that says cage-free, farm-fresh, sunrise something on the label with the watercolor painting of a barn? You're paying for the watercolor. When money's tight, buy the plain dozen. Eggs keep far longer in the fridge than the date on the carton wants you to believe, too. That date is a sell-by, not a drop-dead. If you're not sure, put the egg in a bowl of water. Lies flat on the bottom, it's fresh. Stands up, use it soon. Floats, it goes out. Your grandmother didn't have a printed date. She had a bowl of water. Number 3, rice. Plain white rice, the biggest bag you can store. Not the pouches you microwave. Those cost 5, 6 times as much per serving for the privilege of not stirring a pot. Not the boxed rice mixes either, which are a few cents of rice, a lot of salt, and $2 of box. A big bag of plain rice comes out to around $1 a pound, sometimes less, and a pound of dry rice cooks up into a mountain. We're talking dimes per serving. Dimes. Rice is the floor of a meal. It goes under everything. A little bit of meat and a lot of sauce over rice feeds 4 people instead of 2. Beans over rice, hold that thought. We're getting there. Yesterday's stew over rice is a new dinner and nobody calls it leftovers. And a bag of white rice, kept dry in a sealed container, lasts for years. Years. You cannot say that about almost anything else you eat. It's the closest thing to money in the bank that comes in a food. I'll say the honest part. Brown rice is a bit better for you. And it also goes rancid on the shelf inside a year because of the oils in it. And it takes twice as long to cook, and half the family won't eat it. If your house likes brown rice, wonderful. If not, white rice fed most of the world for most of history. It'll do fine. Number 2, dried beans. Here's where the real money is. A 1-pound bag of dried pinto beans or black beans or Great Northerns, $1.50, maybe 2. That bag cooks up into 6 or 7 cups of beans. Serving for serving, you're down under 25 cents for real protein, for the thing that makes a meal a meal. Beans are what meat costs when nobody's advertising to you. Now I know why people don't buy them. The bag sits in the pantry looking like a chore. So let me take the chore out of it, because it's not what you think. You don't stand at the stove for 3 hours. You put the beans in a pot of water before bed. That's it. That's the famous soaking. It happens while you sleep. Next day, drain them, cover with fresh water, get them simmering, and walk away. Go fold laundry. Check them now and then. Keep water over them. An hour or 2 later, depending on the bean, they're done. The pot does the work. You just have to remember the pot exists. Salt, an onion if you've got one, and that pot of pintos is dinner over rice tonight, burritos tomorrow, and soup on Thursday. 1 bag, 3 dinners. $5 total, maybe, all in. 1 honest warning, and then 1 word of comfort. The warning, cook your beans all the way through. Certain beans, red kidney beans especially, will make you good and sick if they only get half cooked, which is why you don't cook kidney beans on the low setting of a slow cooker without boiling them hard first. 10 minutes at a real boil, then simmer as long as you like. That's the whole rule. The comfort? Yes, canned beans count. They cost about double the dried, which still makes them one of the cheapest foods in the store. If dried beans are the reason you'd skip beans altogether, buy the cans and hold your head up. The bag is for when you're ready. And that brings us to number 1, the one I promised you, the whole chicken. Not the boneless, skinless breasts. Those run $4, $5, $6 a pound because somebody with a knife did 30 seconds of work you could do yourself, and you paid them like a surgeon. Not the rotisserie bird either, though that's not a terrible deal on a hard day. I mean the whole raw chicken in the plastic wrap, sitting low in the meat case, usually somewhere between $1 and $2 a pound. One whole chicken run through my kitchen is 3 dinners. Here's exactly how. Dinner 1, roast it. Salt it well, put it in a hot oven, leave it alone about an hour till the juices run clear at the thigh. That's Sunday dinner, and it's a proud one. A whole roasted bird on the table looks like abundance, whatever the bank account says. Serve it with those 50-cent potatoes and some fried cabbage, and you fed the family for maybe $2 a head. Dinner 2, pick it. After the meal, before that carcass goes anywhere, sit down for 10 minutes and pull every scrap of meat off it. There's more hiding on a chicken frame than you'd believe: the back, the underside, the wings. You'll fill a bowl. That bowl is chicken and rice, or chicken sandwiches, or quesadillas tomorrow night. Dinner 3, and this is the part most kitchens throw in the garbage: the bones. Cover that picked over carcass with water, throw in the sad end of an onion, a carrot if one's around, and let it barely bubble on the back of the stove for a few hours. What comes out is real chicken broth, golden, rich, better than anything in a can. And the can costs $3 now. Have you looked? Your broth cost you water. That broth, plus a potato, a handful of rice, some cabbage, whatever beans are left from Thursday, that's a pot of soup that feeds everybody and tastes like somebody's grandmother made it. Because somebody's grandmother did make it exactly this way every week of her life. They sell a carton of bone broth at that same store for $6, $7. It's what's in your pot. You threw the ingredients away last month. So that's the 7. Oats, cabbage, potatoes, eggs, rice, dried beans, and a whole chicken. Walk out with all 7 and you've spent somewhere around $25, $30, and you are looking at a week or better of real dinners. Not fancy, real. Now let me say the quiet part before I let you go, because it's worth 30 seconds of your time. Every one of these 7 foods lives on the bottom shelf or the back wall. None of them has a commercial. None of them has a cartoon on the package. And that's not an accident. The store makes its money on the middle aisles, on the boxes where somebody took 10 cents of rice or oats or potato, added salt and a pouch of powder, and sold it back to you for $3 as a meal kit. The frozen aisle is the same story. Your dollar of potatoes cut up and refried at 6 times the price. Nobody's lying to you, exactly. They're just charging you a heavy toll for the 30 minutes of work and betting you're too tired to notice. Most weeks, most of us are. That's the whole business model: your tiredness, on a shelf, at eye level. The 7 things I gave you today are what's left when you take the toll roads out. So here's your first step, and it's a small one. Don't overhaul your whole kitchen this week. That never sticks. Just add 1. Next trip, put a whole chicken in the cart instead of the parts, and run it through the 3 dinners the way I showed you. Roast, pick, simmer. That 1 bird will teach you more about your grocery bill than anything I can say. And then come tell me about it. Down in the comments, what's the one cheap food that got your family through a tight stretch? Because every region's got its own, and half of what I know I learned from other women comparing notes exactly like this. I read them all. Next time, I'm going to show you what I do with that broth all winter, 5 soups from 1 pot, and not one of them costs more than a couple dollars to make. Until then, buy low on the shelf, cook the bones, and don't let anybody sell you back your own dinner.